President Biden and I came into office with a plan to strengthen America's economy. It's a term we're very proud of, I must tell you, because Bidenomics is working. It's working.
Yeah, that was Vice President Kamala Harris touting Bidenomics as a new CNN poll finds that half of the country has a negative view of the economy right now, and they think that things are actually getting worse. The same poll finds 63% of Americans disapprove of President Biden's handling of the economy, a.k.a. Bidenomics. John Lonski, your reaction.
Well, the people are right. And, agreeing with the people's assessment of the U.S. economy, this downbeat assessment would be this downgrade of the U.S.'s credit rating from AAA to AA plus by Fitch earlier this week. There's a lot of concern about the strength of the underlying fundamentals of the U.S. economy. Yeah, we have a 3.6% unemployment rate today, but where are we going to be 12 months from now? The consensus believes the unemployment rate will be considerably higher. And I might add, we're getting pretty good jobs growth, but that ADP employment report, 62% of the jobs growth for the month of July came from the very low paying jobs we find in leisure and hospitality. The average weekly earnings for leisure and hospitality are less than half of the overall average.
That's a great point, John. And I want to really zero in on today's jobs report to find out where the job opportunities are. Are these opportunities in those low-paying jobs, as you mentioned, the services-type jobs, or are we actually seeing high-paying jobs created? Because that is a very important point that you mentioned. Krysia, your thoughts? It's really hard to say that Bidenomics is working when a major ratings agency just downgraded the U.S.'s credit rating.
I would completely agree here because I call Bidenomics more like Blindonomics because they're hoping the American public is blind to seeing what is actually occurring. Luckily, this poll shows otherwise, but what we're seeing since the beginning of Joe Biden's administration when he was in office, 16% inflation. We've experienced this while real wages have declined. On top of that, we've also seen recently Senator Carper coming out. He's on the Finance Committee shorting the market. He's a close friend of Joe Biden. So all of these signs, including what John just mentioned with overall employment, really speak to the fact that Americans are suffering and they're experiencing hardships when it comes to even putting food on their table. Americans, over 60%, are having trouble putting food on their table, living paycheck to paycheck, and hopefully, again, they're seeing this. We're not blind to it.
Well, there are real debates going on right now on whether or not we will enter a recession. There are questions, Kelly, about commercial real estate. That's one issue. And, of course, we just are looking at second quarter earnings. Apple last night, as strong and powerful as Apple is, a $3 trillion company, it reported a third straight quarter of declining sales. So business is feeling that as well. You've got new reports, meanwhile, as you just heard, Delaware Senator Tom Carper, who has praised President Biden's economic policy in the past, he's betting against the economy right now. Carper's wife bought up to $95,000 in shares from two funds which are shorting stocks. John, did you see this report?
Yeah, I mean, this is a new form of hedging. On the one hand, the economy's doing great. On the other hand, my goodness, I'm going ahead and hedging for a possible downturn in the economy. Give me a break. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth at the same time. This is ridiculous, and this tells us how little faith even the Democrats have, even the strongest supporters of Joe Biden have in the U.S. economy going forward.
Yeah, Kelly, how do you see it?
I think John made a great point earlier. I'm really looking at the ISM manufacturing index, right? You're actually seeing manufacturing contract. And John, you said, right, retail, leisure, they are the lower paying jobs. Manufacturing makes 73% more than retail in weekly, 136% more in leisure. So I go back to what Biden said. He wanted to save democracy one factory job at a time. I'm just not seeing it in the data.
Wow. And then there's the earnings period. Krysia, what do you think is next that we're going to be focused on? Tech really set the tone for markets this year, and yet overnight we're seeing these stocks trade down and mixed. Apple is down 2%, although Amazon is trading up.
I think what we will be seeing is, again, a lot of these tech stocks are experiencing, mixed numbers because of the inflation. They certainly are. They depend on people really buying and the consumers going out there and spending money. But I think overall consumers cannot afford many of these products. They are focusing more on experiences and travel. Consumer products in the tech space, I think, will be taking a hit going forward.
Yeah, it's a good point about services versus products. We'll take a break.